tumors. I went through that, and I talked about getting up. But you know, the thing is, it's not what you're feeling that matters. It's what you know in your heart and your head. And when I was growing up, I was raised in a very religious home. There were many times my mom and dad looked at me and thought, will this kid be a criminal when he grows up? My daddy was a church deacon. My mother was a church pianist. I was the church brat. And I wasn't your normal brat. I was the type of kid, when people met me, they knew why some animals eat their young. I was sent to a psychiatrist in the 3rd grade. The principal of my school called my mother to her office and said, Ms. Lowry, your boy needs psychiatric help. Mama went out in the lobby and she said, Mark, you've been chosen out of your whole school to get to go and take some tests. I said, well, hot dog, Mama. And I went and saw this psychiatrist. She asked me questions about my mother and my father, and my older brother, Mike, who is perfect. Perfect people have no right to live. He never did anything wrong, and he made me look terrible. And she didn't ask about my little sister because she wasn't born yet. Melissa came along 9 years after me. And Mama told me she waited 9 years between me and Melissa because she's scared to death she's going to have another one like me. Melissa came along, and she was perfect too. There I was, sandwiched between 2 perfect siblings, and it wasn't fair. Middle kid. The psychiatrist finished all of her tests, the ink blot tests, all these little tests they run on you. She went out in the lobby and told my mother I was normal. Mama said, what? Mama didn't believe that, so she took me to another doctor to get a second opinion. And that doctor ran an EEG on my brain. Do you know what an EEG is? It's a test where they tape wires to your head. And I thought they were going to electrocute me. And that came up normal too. Mama was frustrated, but Daddy wasn't frustrated. Daddy found a scripture in Proverbs chapter 22 that says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from you. That changed my life. Daddy started taking God at his word and beating the devil out of me every night. And my dad is not a child abuser. I don't mean to give you that impression. My dad never hollers. He never yells. He never screams. He's always about that far from a coma. Even at football games, he doesn't scream. He just sits there. Everybody else can be screaming, having a great time. My dad just sitting there. If he gets real excited about the football game, he'll go. Then you know he's on the verge of a heart attack. But he gets upset when you pushed him too far. He doesn't holler. He doesn't yell. He goes like this. Do you hear that? He goes. You know, you could stand right next to him. He could go. You probably wouldn't even hear it. I can hear it blocks away. When my dad goes, your party's over. And Mama's the opposite of my dad, where Daddy's calm, cool, and collected. Mama can't spell collected. Mama is a screamer. Do you know what a screamer is? A screamer! It's someone you don't pay any attention to until she hits a certain pitch. And you know Mama's hit that certain pitch when garage doors fly open all over the neighborhood. Mama used to look at me and say, Mark! You just wait till your dad comes home. My dad always came home. He'd be driving up the driveway. He'd hear my mother, Charles, you got a whip, Mark! The garage door would slam on the hood of his car. Dad would go. I remember one time my older brother, Mr. Perfect, and I were wrestling in the kitchen. Now, I was in the kitchen first. I was 8 years old. And I was in the kitchen first. And he came walking through my kitchen, where I was first. And he had this look on his face. Have you ever seen anyone with that look? The look that says, I need to be slapped. Well, what was I to do? I walked over and slapped her. Next thing I knew, I was on the floor. He had me by the throat. I was pounding him in the face. We were having a wonderful time. There's only one problem. Mama was in the kitchen. And you know, I have never, ever whipped my brother. I have tried. I'm 31 now and he's 33. And I still can't whip him. We've wrestled all our lives and I tried to whip him, but one of these days he's gonna get old. As soon as arthritis kicks in, I'm breaking his face. But we were wrestling in the kitchen, knocked over a couple of chairs. We were headed for the china cabinet when we heard this come from the sink where Mama was washing the dishes because Mama had enough. Did your mom ever have enough? You know, when I was growing up, Mama would say, Mark, I've just about had enough. I'd say, well, help yourself, there's plenty more. Oh, when I got too big to whip, you know, I was about 15 and Mama was trying to whip me. I'd be looking at my watch. Or I'd say, ooh, a little more to the left. She didn't like that. But I wasn't too old to whip this day, and I was 8, like I told you. And me and my brother were having a great time. We didn't even know she was in the world until we heard this come from the sink. And I wish that God would build on the back of every mother's head a little red light that would start flashing 10 seconds before enough. You can make a lot of tracks in 10 seconds. But without any warning, Mama had enough. And she threw herself over the kitchen sink. And this is what we heard. I failed. Lord, forgive me for failing with these boys. My brother and I, we quit fighting and we went. This is a lot better than our fight. Mama was pitching a fit. Oh! We were just standing there watching her. All of a sudden, the phone started ringing. Bring, bring. Phones ring weird in Texas. Bring. Mama didn't even let up. Whoa! I was thinking to myself, I wonder who's going to get the phone. My brother was thinking, not me. And that left Mama, and she's in no condition to answer the phone. Tears are dripping off her cheeks. This was major cry here. But slowly she turned and started walking towards the ringing phone. And she's still crying. I immediately started fasting and praying. I said, oh, dear God, dear Lord, please don't let that be Daddy on the phone. God, I'll go to Africa. I'll wear polyester Bermuda shorts for the rest of my life. Lord, I'll marry a woman with a monkey on her head. But don't let that be Daddy on the phone. Mama's walking the phone. I can't believe the way you boys treat your mother. I went through the valley of the shadow of death to give you birth. Between the two of you, I've been in labor half my life. And you treat me like dirt. Oh, she put her hand on the phone. She's still crying. I'm still praying. I can't believe it. Hello. I never figured out how mothers can do that. Did your mother do that?